They said, well, can you tell us a little bit more? And the next day I had the role leading Empower for them
Wow.
globally throughout the world.
Sheryl, thank you so much for being on 20-Minute Leaders. It's so great to have you here.
Oh, wonderful to join you, Michael. This
Where
is
are you calling
exciting
from?
time. I'm sheltering in place in Palo Alto. I
Okay,
live in New York City, but I figured I'd get a little bit more freedom here since I have a puppy.
definitely. How old is the puppy? How old is Gabby?
Gabby, which is short for Gabriel, God's bravest woman, is 2.5 years old and my best friend.
So she's not a puppy anymore.
I would call her a puppy. I call all dogs puppy, even if they're
Okay.
old.
Okay, wonderful. No, because I have a 3-month-old puppy and I'm waiting for him to get out of the puppy phase so that I can stop calling him a puppy.
Yeah, it's about another year.
That's longer than most people told me, so I'm not gonna take that answer, but
No
we'll just move
way.
on. Okay, so Sheryl, such an impressive background, global executive on all fronts, so many different enterprises. You're involved with the Holt Prize, which I'd love to talk more about. You're very involved with women in leadership and broadcasting a positive message around that. Can you please give me sort of a really short intro about where you came from and what are the things that are most exciting to you right now?
Oh, where we come from. I think I come from a place, and sorry, I'm moving around because I want to
No,
make sure the
perfect.
air
I
conditioner
like
doesn't
the
make
tour.
too much noise. But I think we all come from a place in our lives where our family has helped us understand a little bit more about who we are and what we can be. And
Yeah,
for me, my father was that person that said, you can be anybody you want to be, and you don't need anybody else to help you get there. So as a person in life, I've always looked at who I am as what's possible, as opposed to what's not possible. And growing up in a city like New York City and having the freedom to go anywhere and do anything, no matter
right.
how old you are, and still survive, really teaches you that sense that, hey, I'm me and I have confidence. And through that confidence, I can take on anything. So women's leadership and leadership overall, not just women and men, to be honest with you, because we do this together, is about teaching people to be confident and not see themselves as the face that they see in the mirror, but see themselves as the heart and soul and driven human being that they want to be in this world. That's who I am.
What is so what is that? Give me a little bit more background about this specific notion of helping people transition from just seeing their faces in the mirror to seeing a more confident being. What does that entail, and how do you even go about trying to help that transformation?
I think it starts in a very simple way. I mean, oftentimes we go up to little girls and we say, you're cute, you're so pretty. But we go up to little boys and we say, you're strong, you're capable, go
Huh.
get it. And so that very fundamental starting point needs to change. We need to pivot it. So if girls see themselves as strong, capable, then from that place, they won't see themselves in the mirror. And that's the role that my father played in my life, saying, you're strong,
Interesting.
you're capable. Never said I was cute or pretty until I was over 25.
Huh. So you think that it's literally about having the adjectives being one is more characteristic of our appearance and one is more characteristic of our soul. That makes a pretty significant difference already in these younger ages.
I think younger ages and throughout your life. So I
Yeah.
think this notion of people seeing themselves as people and responding to them in that way teaches them who they are. I often see on Facebook a woman post a new photo, hey, I got a new haircut, look at me. And I say, you look strong, you look capable, and I like your haircut, you're gorgeous. So I change
I
the
love it.
adjectives, and that's how I build the relationship with that woman, as opposed to just commenting as others do. And once you build that level of relationship, because that's what they want to hear, like, who am I? Then they're
Yeah.
open the door to say, well, how can you help me get to be the person I want to be?
Totally. Okay. So and do you do that work? Is that just independently? Is that through a more through an organization or some other structured area? How does that actually take place?
Yeah, I think if you're really going to make impact, you have to work through an organization because it
Right.
gives you that lift. It brings you
Yep.
up and it gives you power and a position to work from. So wherever I have worked, I've found a way into their women's organizations. The
Yep.
current one that I'm involved in is at the company I work for, Coupa, which
Yep.
is for business spend management, what Salesforce is for customer relationship management. So amazing company whose culture is interesting because it's upside down management. So the
What does that mean?
the CEO set it up that he's on the bottom instead of the top, and then his leaders report to him. And then when you finally get to somebody like me, I'm now towards the top. So that upside down management allows you to bring new ideas forward more quickly, and you have the sense that you're empowered. So
Give me a slightest example. So I get the idea of an upside down pyramid, but I don't understand, what does that mean that his leaders are reporting to him, even though he's somewhat beneath them? How does that actually work?
It means that anytime we roll out something new to the market, and one example is what I'm running now, which is called Empower. That's their diversity women's organization.
Okay.
I didn't interview for it. I just said, hey, I know you hired me for alliances. I'm good at alliances, building relationships that help
Yeah.
companies drive outcomes and results, financial, business results. I said, but I also know a lot about diversity inclusion, and I've been doing this for 15 years. They said, well, can you tell us a little bit more? And the next day I had the role leading Empower for them
Wow.
globally throughout the world. And now I'm building the board and setting the agenda, defining the pillars. And that all
Wow.
happened within days, and now it's a couple of weeks. So you don't normally see that in companies. You see
Of course.
political jockeying, like, who are you? You just got here. And here it's like, oh, that's you? Yay, we love it. And another example, and I have to be like pretty excited about it to share this, but every time someone is promoted, has a baby, or sells something, they send a note to all of us so that everybody can congratulate them. 2,000 people in the
That's
company.
great.
So that says a little bit more about how the people are as important as the outcomes that you deliver.
Of course. Of course. No, I mean, especially, I mean, today in 2020, culture is so apparent and such a centerpiece of every company. Maybe I don't think it was like that 10, 15 years ago, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
This focus and this challenge, it's pretty insane. Tell me a little bit about this Holtz Prize that you're very involved with.
So that's my other favorite story. So Holt Prize, which is now in its 10th year, is the world's largest social impact organization. What it is,
Okay.
it's a challenge that's put out to every student at every university around the world to solve a social problem that impacts 10 million people in 5 years.
So,
Okay,
so you solve it within 5 years, but it impacts 10 million people, right?
in 5 years. That's kind of the overall. President
Yep.
Clinton puts out the challenge to the students at these universities. They compete on campus to be the campus winner, to go further along the challenge. And ultimately, the winning team gets $1 million in seed money to take their idea forward and to start a for-profit for good business. So the notion is for-profit is very
for-profit.
For-profit for good.
For-profit for good. $1 million seed.
Yeah.
Grant. No strings attached.
No
just
grant, no.
Milestone. Okay.
Well, of course, you want to help them as they're moving along the way.
No, of course, but there's no equity. There's no.
It's not equity driven.
Wow. And so, what's your role over there?
So I came in to lead all the mentors that have been involved over the years.
Wow.
So if you think about it, for these young students to take a nascent idea and build it into something that can become a business, you need people that understand alliances, business models, presenting, marketing, everything that's needed. So
Totally.
I bring my friends in who are now the mentors, including the CEO of Microsoft in Sweden, a friend of mine that worked in Shark Tank, so he ran all of that. So I just kind of picked and chose.
So cool.
It's really cool. And they all go, oh, Sheryl, can I do it again this year? I'm like, yeah, sure. But I got a lot of other people that are interested.
Wow. So give me some examples of these projects just so that I can wrap my mind around what constitutes a Holt winner project.
Yeah. So one of them, and I'm an advisor to it, is the challenge that year was early childhood education, ages 0 to 6. So that's a very hard
Okay.
challenge because 0 to 6, you have different educational needs that are there. But the idea that won that year was the notion of creating a school and using that school to help train these or essentially educate children. But the school is very special in that the school is in the growing communities for coffee. So think about all the coffee growers and their communities that they're growing coffee. How do the children get educated in a more strategic way instead of one-on-one parents to children? So they created schools, and so they trained the mothers how to be educators, and they bring that education into the community. And a percentage of all the coffee that is sold is used to go back into those communities to build these schools. So
Wow.
it's a very cool idea. It's called Impact Coffee. So we have to
Okay.
get you some. I'll order. It's done.
Definitely. Oh my God. Wait, so how long have you been involved with this? How many projects have you really seen go through?
I've been involved for over 7 years, and I've seen some really amazing projects go through, but it's not about the projects. It's
Okay.
about lighting up people at university to know that in addition to what they want to be, they want to make the world a better place.
I love it. Okay.
So if we instill that in every person, the mentors, the advisors,
Of course.
then we start to build a world that is like Kupa, a village that
Yeah.
believes that there's much more to life than just making money.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Sheryl, talk to me a little bit about alliances. What does that even mean? Building alliances, building relationships. You're kind of an expert in that, but I have no idea what that is. I'm still a
Yeah,
little kid.
I simplify it. It's how you bring people together from different points of view and different backgrounds to come together
Okay.
to create for a common purpose to deliver more outcomes. So now you're going to say be specific. So when I manage the alliance between EMC or Dell EMC,
Yep.
and VMware, so Dell is a hardware company and VMware is a virtualization company. They didn't really understand, like, why do I need hardware to be virtualized? So
Okay.
through alliances, you built relationships with other companies like IBM or HP or NetApp to integrate virtual capability into their technology so that when they sell it to their clients, they have better value, but VMware is selling the software. So,
Interesting.
alliances is really, honestly, it's about taking different backgrounds or different capability, putting them together and delivering a better value proposition to the market.
Yeah, I mean, so you're kind of an integrator where you know the overall challenges or of both organizations, and you're trying to play matchmaker like Cupid and saying, yeah, I think they can help you with this, and you can help them with that. We can form some alliance that wouldn't have come up otherwise, right? Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, but what I also do is I get engineers from different organizations to say, hey, I want to work with you. What you have is good. And then marketing, oh, I want to market with you. Sales, I want to sell with you. So it's about looking at the whole life cycle that sits inside of an organization and aligning across all of those different avenues. And when you do that, that's how you really bring value and deliver an outcome that's successful on both sides.
Sure.
So another example, I worked at Metadata, which is a life sciences platform.
Yeah.
Which was so cool. I mean, imagine today working in that arena. What
Totally.
they did is they helped bring drugs to market more quickly by building a platform that life sciences companies can do to ensure that as they're going through all of the medical tests that need to happen to bring a drug to market, which think about that today, how important that is. So you need a system integrator or an alliance company to help manage the services around that, so that when it's delivered, you have the technology, services, and the customer all working together. That's another example of an alliance.
Very cool. And so how much of that does it require technological background versus more people skills, relationships, really understanding and how to read strategically.
Yeah, you really have to understand people to do this.
Yeah.
That's fundamental. But you have to be savvy enough about technology so you don't show up in the room as just a people person because they don't listen to you.
Yep.
But if you bring really smart technologists in that room, the technologists love the people side, and so they give you all the technical capability. But I understand technology. I'm not a real geek, but my family thinks I'm a geek.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, sure. And so what actually excites you, in the day to day? I love asking that because, so many people have such fascinating positions. Some of them are passionate about them. Some of them are passionate about other things. Is this what you're really passionate on, the core of alliances, or is that, or are there bits and pieces also that are missing from there?
I'm passionate about people. I mean, I really want to create a world where we're all connected and understand, as my friend Kari Anderson always says, we are better together. And we have a lot of unintended allies that we need to understand. So as we
Right.
do for others, we create this new world that takes us forward together. So, I mean, that's really what I care about. And I mostly care about connecting multi-generational people to understand that we're all dealing with things and we can learn from
Yeah.
each other. I learned from you, you learn from me. It's
Yeah.
not one way. And I think that's what I'm passionate about. And the other thing is pups. I love dogs. So I'm sheltering in place here in Stamford. You're wearing a shirt, but
Yep.
Palo Alto, because I can go out here and run around and go for a 5-mile hike or run, bring my pup, she meets another dog, and then, we all hang out together. So
I
that's
love
the
it.
other side of me.
I love it. I love it. Okay, and I'd love to also get to know a little bit about your earned secrets. I would say about alliances overall over these years, and I'm gonna use alliances as sort of a metaphor for relationship building, which is such a fundamental aspect of today's businesses. And I'm looking at myself, as a future CEO, and looking for these alliances and looking for partnerships. What should I be looking for, strive to look for, as I'm preparing for these relationships?
Building a world where what you say and what you do is so honest and true that people around you want to be with you and be involved. That's number one. I mean, that essence of
Sounds
trust.
like leadership, right?
It is leadership, but I mean, wherever you are, you need to be a leader. But that fundamental respect of other people is critical and important. And then also just taking a moment to always say to somebody, thank you, I like what you do, I recognize it, and never take the position that you've done it, it's you, it's us. I always
It's
say,
hard. It's hard sometimes to step back and give it and take a few minutes to acknowledge, especially, today as everything is moving so quickly. And it's sometimes hard to just step back and say, wait, let's take a moment to acknowledge what we just did here.
yeah, but if you don't, then what are you going to get? It's those small moments that make the big moments. It's
Totally.
huge. I mean, I posted something yesterday incorrectly, and somebody I work for sent me, I don't think you meant to do this, but you can fix it if you want to, but I just want you to know, don't worry about it. So what a nice way to say, hey, you made a mistake. You may want to fix it for you, but I don't care about it for me. It's those
Right.
soft ways of helping someone else look better helps build relationships between people.
Yeah, definitely. No, and one of the really interesting things that I've been observing since I came to Palo Alto about a year ago is also the way in which you help people correct and how direct you can be versus non-direct. Obviously, the Israeli culture is very different from American culture, and there's a lot of adaptations to do this. So it's definitely been fascinating for me. Sheryl, before we end, I have to put you on the spot once, and I'd love to know 3 words that you would best describe yourself as, or one of your colleagues would describe you as, or your puppy would describe you as.
Oh no, I don't have those 3 words. Passionate, authentic, and driven.
So you have those 3 words. That was easy.
Yeah, I would add
Passionate,
playful at
authentic,
the end
driven.
because I am very playful.
I love it. I think I think those are really what you need to have strong alliances and strong relationships. And it sounds like what you're doing, both of the Holt Prize is incredible, and with the diversification and women in leadership and men in leadership, it's fantastic. And I love your take on alliances building and relationships. And I'm definitely taking a lot of these things to myself also as a future entrepreneur. So Sheryl, thank you very much for your time. Stay safe
Thank
and stay
you.
healthy.
Very good. You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah.